All right, listen, so there are really three integral conversations that I had throughout my life that shaped me to want to build multiple streams of income and to be retiring early. Now, the first one came my freshman year of high school. This is around the same time my father had just recently passed away. And from that, I learned, I don't want to work a 9 to 5 day in and day out. My father passed away at 54, didn't even retire, never got to enjoy those later years in his life that most people work so hard to get to. And so I realized, working that 9 to 5 just doesn't make a lot of sense in my mind for the long term. And so that's when I kind of sat down as I transitioned back to school with the professor, and I said, I need to figure out a way around this. How do you generate wealth? And I could see him thinking in his mind, and the gears were turning, and he was trying to figure out how to put it. And I'm going to put this and not do it really a lot of justice, but essentially what he said was, it's not possible. Wealth is generational. It has already been created and it gets handed down to your children. And basically, if you're not handed wealth, you're not going to be able to break free from the system. And so, I kind of was like nodding my head, agreeing, being like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And then as soon as I turned around, was like, that's crazy. That's lunatic, because there are so many people out there that have nothing. They come from nothing. They become millionaires. This happens a lot. And it's all about figuring out, piecing it together and working your way there. I figure if somebody else can do it, why can't I? And so that was one of the conversations that I had that really I use as motivation moving forward. Now, another one came as I went to attend a graduation party. So fast forward 4 years later, I was talking to a lot of people as I was gearing up to go to college, and I was talking to people at this graduation party. There were a lot of people who were retired there, and I went up to them. I said, listen, how did you generate wealth? How did you retire? How did you get to where you are today? Most of them said the same thing. It was a kind of a group conversation. They said, listen, what you do is you go to college, you get a degree, you get a 9 to 5 job from your degree, you work, maybe you get married along the way, you combine wealth, you buy a house, you invest into a 401k, a Roth IRA, and then eventually when you're 65, you reach the age of retirement, hey, you got $1 million. And so again, I was kind of like, yeah, okay, that makes sense, agreeing and nodding my head. But looking around, I'm like, these people, a lot of them were much older than 65 as well. And so you kind of deteriorate a little bit quicker than usual, right? You want to be able to be young, enjoy your years. You're more agile, more mobile. And then as you get older is when you start slowing down. So it's like, in my mind, why would you not want to enjoy your time when you're younger as well? Why does it have to be when you're older? And mainly it's just because it's how you generate and build wealth. And so a lot of people don't think that there's another option. And so really the third conversation that I had, and one of the most important ones ever in my life, was with a professor that I had in college. And so I sat down with this professor and I said, listen, how do you generate wealth? Now, this is a man who had been a professional athlete. He had owned multiple businesses. He had pretty much done everything under the sun when it came to work, physical labor, 9 to 5 desk jobs, owning businesses, athlete, like all these different things, right? So I looked at him and saw the success of this person and was like, how did you do it? And so he looked at me and he said, listen, the secret to building wealth, the secret to, retiring early is to be able to generate multiple streams of income. This was one conversation that I had that motivated me instantly. I was thinking about all the different ways that I could generate wealth from this moment on, and I still think about this conversation to this day. Now, when you look at the average millionaire, and if you can go ahead and Google search this, you're going to find the same information. When you look at the average millionaire, what you find is that the average millionaire has 7 different streams minimally of income. And so I'm going to be talking about those 7 different income streams, but I'm also going to be talking about where along the journey I am. How many income streams do I have? And it's going to be some great stuff. So let me just jump into that. Now, income stream number 1 that these millionaires have is passive income through dividend investing. This is one that I work actively every single day to try and build more and more. If you guys don't know much about dividend investing, this entire channel is basically about dividend investing, but it is truly the most passive form of income that you can receive. And the reason being is you just put your money in, you let your money sit, and as your money's sitting, you're investing in these solid blue chip companies. They actually pay you a portion of the profits to incentivize you to invest with them. And so instead of sacrificing something like time, literally all you're putting into it is money, and your money is now working for you. It's like having every dollar you have as an employee, and it's going to be generating you more and more money. So that's the way I kind of look at it. It's super important. And again, I can just sit back, I can sleep, I can go to the beach, I can go do anything that I want. And as I'm doing that, my dividend investments are going to be paying me. All right, now the second income stream that most millionaires have, and this is actually one that I kind of somewhat disagree with after a certain point in time, is earned income from your everyday 9-to-5 paycheck, right? So I work a 9-to-5 job. I get a paycheck from my 9-to-5 job, and most other people out there also work a 9-to-5 job. Now, I recently put out a poll where over 70% of the respondents said that they only have 1 to 2 income streams. Now, that's going to be your 9-to-5 job income, right? If you only have one stream of income, that's likely what it's going to be. And so it's so important to be able to build upon that in order to generate wealth. And so if you look at that and you're wondering, you know what, why do I kind of disagree with this? Well, because I think there's a lot more potential to make money in other ways if you can free up your time from your 9-to-5 job, right? So I'm not saying that everybody needs to quit their 9-to-5 job right away. The best way you can do it is if you find ways to replace it through, side businesses, whatever you can figure out. And then you can utilize that time to do other things to generate wealth. And I'll talk more about that in a few moments here as we get into the next topic, which I want to talk about. And that is actually going to be real estate and rental properties. This is one that I'm actively trying to pursue. So the first one I have, the second one I have, this third one is something I do not quite have yet, but I'm working on it. Now, I've been in talks with different real estate agents. I've been in talks with different lenders, and I have everything geared up to actually make a purchase of a house or a multifamily unit and be able to generate income from rent. And again, that's common with every millionaire investor. Most of them have rental properties that people are paying them in order to live there. And oftentimes what happens is the rental income that they're generating is enough to cover their everyday expenses, and they don't necessarily have to clock into a 9-to-5, right? So that's just one way you can get rid of that 9-to-5. If you have enough rental properties where you're generating income that's going to completely replace your 9-to-5, then you have all of those hours to then work on other streams of income. And so the next stream of income that so many millionaires have is something called royalties. So they get paid, royalties on, written work that they have or songs or anything that they're creating, right? And that's something that I think in the future will be something that's geared towards me. So maybe I become successful and I've documented my entire journey, similar to what I've been doing on my YouTube channel, but I create a book out of it, right? And maybe some people are going to find value in it and they want to buy the book and support me. Well, that's just one way that royalties could make a huge difference for me. And though I can't do it now because I'm still in my journey, like you guys who are viewing this video and watching my channel, you are watching me create my wealth building journey. And I think a lot of you feel similarly to I do, like you can get there just like I can get there as well. And I think that, in seeing me create this channel and seeing me generate different types of income, it's kind of motivational and inspirational in a way. And so that's exactly kind of my goal. And I'd love to share that with more people. So later on, if I'm a lot more successful, then I can share that more through books, and other ways that I can then somewhat monetize at some point in time, which will be absolutely amazing and be a great way to generate wealth in the future. Another thing that I can't really say that I'm doing right now is actually selling appreciated assets. Now, what I mean by that is maybe you've been investing in something like real estate and the housing prices have gone up so much and you decide, hey, maybe it's time to cash out on a few of my properties and you know what, maybe gear it towards retirement, put it into different investments and figure out ways to use that money that might be a little bit offset from real estate. Well, when you sell that property that's now appreciated in value, a couple $100,000s, you're actually able to recognize the gains that you made on that. And though I don't have a ton of assets to my name, like I don't have a house, I do have investments, but there's not a ton that I necessarily own that I could sell in order to flip a profit. All right. And so then the next stream of income that a lot of these millionaires are able to recognize is profits from businesses that they have created, maybe some that they've invested in. And so for me, one that I've been actively working on here is D-Litz TV, this whole YouTube channel. I've got a website for it, and I'm actually pulling in some pretty decent money from this right now. From YouTube right now, currently, and hopefully this continues, I'm making more from my YouTube channel than I do from my 9-to-5 job. And that makes a huge difference because if this continues, then I can continue growing YouTube shift more towards my focus on YouTube and eventually take away that 9-to-5 job. Because of the way it's worked, I mean, I worked for almost 2 years with absolutely no benefits from YouTube. I didn't make any money from it. And then it really started to pick up here in 2021. So it's definitely not something that you can create and then all of a sudden be making a ton of money. It's taken a long time for me to get to the point where I'm at today. But essentially, if you're able to create this business and start making enough money, that's one way that you can transition from that 9-to-5. And then if I'm able to do that, take YouTube more seriously, continue growing here, the business itself is going to make a lot more money if I can put more focus, more emphasis in creating content. And then again, freeing up that time, maybe I can start writing a book, or maybe I can start working on buying more rental properties, and using that new allotted time, I'll be able to build my wealth in some of those other income stream methods. So that's kind of my goal. Again, that hopefully one day here in the future, I'll be able to make that full-time transition. And so one thing to consider when you are starting a business, like if you were to be doing online sort of like influencer work, and I hate calling it that, but that's kind of what I do. Affiliate marketing is absolutely huge. So like I mentioned, on YouTube, I'm making a little bit more than what I make at my 9-to-5 job. Then my 9-to-5 job is probably my next biggest source of income. Just below that though is affiliate marketing, where if you guys didn't know, like there's different ways that companies will pay you to, I guess, promote their products or their services. And so when I talk about things like the Robinhood investing app or the Webull investing app, and if you sign up, you can get yourself a free stock. Well, I'm actually getting a little bit of a benefit from that as well. It helps support my channel. And so it's just one of the great ways to generate more passive income. So that excels it a little bit further, right? If I'm able to make a decent amount from YouTube, and then I'm able to make a decent amount from affiliate marketing, that makes me a step closer to being able to take a step away from that 9-to-5 job. And the seventh form of passive income is actually taking advantage of just small savings account interest rates or CDs, or looking at different ways of lending your money to actually receive money. And that's something that I'm not necessarily doing right now, mainly because I haven't had the capital to actually lend out my money. I do have high interest savings accounts for my emergency fund. But other than that, I mean, there's not much I can really do. All the money that I am taking in is stuff that is really important to either my business, kind of reinvesting it into my business, or maybe it is trying to formulate enough money for a down payment on a house. That's been a goal of mine for a long time. Finally there, and going to be able to build that passive income stream as well. So there's a lot that you can do in order to generate these passive income streams. There's so many different methods. These aren't the only 7. These are just the most common 7 that you might run into. So if you guys have any creative ways to generate passive income, I'm always looking to add more ways of generating income to my income stream. So if you guys have any suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. If you took anything away from this video, if you guys find yourself coming back to this channel time and time again, I'd love for you guys to subscribe. Hey, around 50,000 subscribers, I think I'm going to release my total net worth in a video. I think that'd be really interesting to see. And we'll see how quickly we can get to 50K, and then you'll know my net worth. You'll know everything right up front. So again, thank you so much for checking out this video, guys, and have a great day.